You wanted to see me so badly, you got your hair done very nicely.
Yes, I did.
When a patient gets dolled up for your visit,
And it looks great.
Thank you.
You always look great.
you're kind of a big deal.
Wherever you see, yellow little Post-it notes is something about Tom.
When your photo appears on page after page of clinic scrapbooks,
Here's more Tom. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but I think his eyewear is quite funny.
you might be a big deal.
Our place has got a lot of great history, but I think he's probably one of the most historical people.
When you've worked in the same small town for 32 years,
He's there when you need him.
you could be a big deal.
My nickname for him is the Godfather.
When coworkers reference you as a leader from an epic story of loyalty and family,
And so the Godfather is a good term as far as he's kind of the patriarch of our facility.
you are definitely a big deal.
I'm famous.
You recognize that you're in the penumbra of a great doctor when you see his patients and how devoted they are, and it's hard to stack up positively.
You still see that passion. It's not a job for Dr. Bracken, it's a vocation.
Hi, Wynette. How are you today? It's nice to see you again.
He's got this posture that just doesn't look like a guy who thinks he's really something, chief of staff. I've been here over 30 years. He doesn't walk around like that at all.
He would never want to be the center of attention, but he is a core strength to our community.
He's very capable of going way above our heads, but he doesn't.
In fact, all you need is a minute with this down-to-earth doc to realize he'd prefer to keep the focus anywhere but on him.
And I think family doctors are special. We all work really hard, but I think all of them are doing what I do every day. So.
But his patients will tell you
He's been fabulous with parents as we age, with our children and with our grandchildren.
he always gives more than expected.
Dr. Bracken was there for our family every single step of the way.
He provided end-of-life care for both of Marlis Byers' parents.
Dr. Bracken comes to the lake home, examines him right on the couch. Just incredible.
And he did so with grace and dignity.
I can remember my mom saying to Dr. Bracken, just what are you going to do with me now? Knowing that she knew at this point it was terminal. And he said, Myrtle, we're just going to enjoy you.
He's just an all-around nice guy. He's kind and he's very compassionate and caring about his patients. He's just diligent in making sure that they get the best possible care.
He's also kind of funny sometimes.
When neighbor and physician assistant Dan Miner was diagnosed with MS, Tom Bracken became one of his biggest supporters.
He hasn't forgotten about him. He's been there. He's constantly asking him how he feels. He helps if he needs to.
While it could be tempting to just dwell on the sickness, he dwells on life.
Dr. Bracken treats many of the priests and brothers who live at the Priory in Onamia.
His consistency in all of this care is astounding to me, and his care that he continues for each of them, giving them the personal attention, knowing their personalities, what they need.
It's like he has a reverence for people.
He freely gives his cell phone number and knows each person who calls.
Tom has gone, I think, over and above to know the norms of our community, know the families, know what culture means.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing today?
Which is why patients, many who are members of the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe, have so much respect for him.
I'm so comfortable with him making decisions for our family about our health care, so it's a trust thing with him.
Dr. Bracken, he's like an old friend.
He spoke Ojibwe when she was born, and he said Anishinaabe, which means Ojibwe girl.
I only know about one Ojibwe word for every year I've been here, and it gets me in trouble. I tried to say, go out, hello, sweetheart, to one of my older patients.
And my mother cracked up laughing and said, Doc Bracken, do you realize what you just said to me? You said, hello, dog woman.
Luckily, she knew me and forgave me right away, but you got to be careful when you don't know a language very well.
What Doc Bracken does really well is make music.
He writes songs and he's just very talented.
Dr. Bracken plays guitar for his church. He and his his wife Sue are also part of the contemporary worship team performing at weekly services.
He is motivated by his faith and by his values. He's got extremely strong morals and values.
And every year since 1984, Dr. Bracken gives up hours of his time to direct a community Christmas choir, despite having no formal conducting experience.
So the first question he asked me was, do I sing? Because his passion is the Christmas choir.
We do 3 concerts there, benefit concerts, and we're really good for how small we are.
In 2009, Dr. Bracken received the prestigious St. Francis Award, given to someone in the health system who demonstrates hope, peace, and humility. In this tradition, Dr. Bracken is part of a medical mission team that goes to Haiti twice a year, providing care to those in need.
And they're more grateful for what little they have than we are for how much we have, and that was just really eye-opening.
He also serves as a teacher and mentor at home and precepts once a month at HCMC, his former residency.
He is never happier than when he has a student around. Whether it's a new colleague, whether it's a PA student, a medical student, a resident, a new nurse, when he is teaching, he's just at his best.
Dr. Bracken grew up in White Bear Lake, where he lived with his parents and 2 sisters. He played clarinet and was a gymnast, taking 3rd on the pommel horse at state.
Every so often he has to prove he's still young enough to jump up and sit on the counter in the nurse's station.
So this is Willard R. Peck.
Dr. Bracken's grandfather was an anesthesiologist in St. Paul.
I was 9 when he died and always looked up to him, and that's kind of what inspired me to be a doctor.
In the early days, as one of just a few physicians on staff, Tom Bracken kept a grueling on-call schedule. Yet his dedication to the health system and his co-workers never wavered.
He would call, whether to give us an optimistic pep talk or a compassionate word.
He was there, and that was so vitally important to me at that time.
Fellow family physicians Patty Hook and Arden Verning lost their daughter Mary to cancer. Throughout their 5-year battle, Dr. Bracken provided guidance and support.
He took extra call, made sure that our schedules were flexible so we could be with our daughter as much as possible.
And he was integral in planning a memorial in the clinic's lobby, a play area called Mary's Barn.
It taught me how to be a good physician in watching how he cared for us.
As a leader, Dr. Bracken has helped create an environment where everyone is valued.
We care very deeply about each other, and the person is more important than the position. That's the kind of place I like to work.
And the reason he stayed.
The first day we moved here, my wife and I walked downtown. There wasn't a single car on the main street at 5 o'clock. I looked at her and I said, we'll give it a year and then we'll move.
But they didn't.
Our family and friends we've had since the very beginning. And it's just part of us now, and we're part of it. So
instead, he lives simply, practicing real-life medicine.
We do get involved in our patients' lives. We go to their houses. We give them rides sometimes.
He doesn't go drive in his nice, great car and go to some... I mean, he lives right here. He's embedded in the community.
In fact, for years, the Brackens raised their growing family right next door to the hospital.
His house used to sit literally 100 feet outside of the emergency room door.
Until they were relocated to make room for an expansion.
It was almost crushing for him because he couldn't imagine how he was going to make it to the hospital to do rounds in that amount of time.
I'm just crazy about him, and I'm very proud.
Dr. Bracken's bride of nearly 40 years is also a key player in the community, serving as an early childhood educator.
We've had a great marriage, and we couldn't, either one of us, do what we do without each other, I think.
He remembers me chasing him on the playground and kissing him.
We met when we were really young, but we weren't really friends till late high school. And it's a high school romance. Looks like it might work out.
He's the most authentic person I've ever known. What you see is what you get.
So we raised 4 wonderful daughters. They're all smart.
And he's the kind of dad who calls each of his girls every Sunday night.
We have 3 grandchildren that are more fun than the daughters were. Being a grandpa is the best thing I've done. That's the title I'm most proud of. You can take the rest of them, but I love that.
In his limited free time, he's been known to actually relax and catch a TV show. As a joke for a retiring staff member, he even dressed up as a character from Breaking Bad.
went down as Walter White with a gun to try to force her to stay. Well, this is a special paddle.
Each summer, Dr. Bracken and friends plan a canoe trip to the Boundary Waters.
All the way down to Saginaw Lake in the U.S. It's not work. That's the main reason we do it, because it's a blast. We have good food, we have good fishing.
Dr. B will forever be known for
he's got a dry sense of humor.
Clearly apparent when asked if there was anything about his life he might change.
I would have used that stuff for baldness earlier, that Propecia. You got to start it early. Might have done that.
Yes, like it or not, Dr. Bracken.
He likes to come off as a curmudgeon, but that only carries so far.
You have enriched the greater Mille Lacs community beautifully, medically,
just really, really is always thinking about other people.
tremendously.
When you need that support, he is firmly inside your court.
And all would agree,
truly does he have a patient-centered focus.
They are truly blessed to know you.